Hello, this video is to help you with the learning target. I can find the solution set for an inequality that contains absolute value bars using critical values. This actual problem is from the TI packet, Can I Graph You To, question number 2. So what we first do is we have the inequality. The absolute value, those are absolute value bars, of 1/3 x minus 10 is less than or equal to 11. So what we're looking for is values of x that when we put in numbers for x and we multiply by 1/3, which is like divided by 3, and then subtract 10, that final number inside the absolute value bars, its distance is going to be less than or equal to 11 units. Step 1 would be to write the inequality as an equation. So the less than or equal to sign is going to change into an equal sign. This is just a preliminary step. This is just temporary to help us find critical points. Now we're going to apply the definition of absolute value, which is that you take what you see inside the absolute value bars, set that equal to 11, and then you are also going to take the negative of what was inside the absolute value bars. So the opposite of 1/3 x minus 10. So now we have two equations. We have equation 1 and we have equation 2. We're going to solve these for x. So if you look on the left side, I have equation number 1, and I have 1/3 x minus 10 equals 11. I add 10 to both sides, and then I multiply both sides by 3. So I have x equals 63. That's a critical point. I'm going to do the same thing over here with the minus sign. That minus sign is going to get distributed. So it's going to turn this into a negative, this into positive. This time I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides, and then I'm going to multiply everything by -3. Actually, it looks like I multiplied by +3. And that gave me a -1x and a +3. And then when I solved for x, I had to divide by a -1. So I'm going to divide both sides by -1. And that gave me x equals -3. These are my critical points. And because my original inequality had a less than greater than symbol, I'm going to use a solid dot here. So now I have my number line and I have my critical points. This helps me create my critical regions. I have region number 1, which are x's that could be less than -3. I have region number 2, which is x's that are greater than -3 but less than 63 or equal to. And then I have region 3, which is x's that are greater than 63. 3 test regions. Pick points in each region to determine if that region is part of the solution set. So, as I've shown before in other videos, I like to take a point that's way to the left, real small, -10,000. You could even take -100,000 if you wanted to. I like to take 0 if it's not on one of the critical points. I can use 0, which is in region 2, and then 10,000 for region 3. I'm going to do 3 problems. I'm going to take the -10,000 and I'm going to put that one in first. Now, some of this can be mental math for some of you. Others of you might like to write it down. If I take -1/3 times -10,000, I'm going to get a positive. And it's going to be a pretty big number. It's actually going to be 1/3 of 10,000, which is probably something like 3,333. And I'm going to look and see if I take a large number, -10, is that going to have an absolute value which is positive, will it be less than 11? Well, obviously, if I have a really big number like 3,333, and I subtract 10, and I take the absolute value, it's going to be greater than 11. It's not going to be less than 11. So this would be a false statement. So this is not a critical region. It's not a part of the solution set. So I'm not going to shade in where that negative 10,000 was. Let's test region 2. For region 2, I'm going to use 0. So x equals 0. I'm going to put x equals 0 in. That's going to give me the absolute value of negative 10. That's why we say zeros are hero. Anything times 0 is 0. So the absolute value of negative 10 is 10, which is indeed less than 11. So this is true. So I actually found a region that worked. This region right here, which I just shaded in blue, that's a working region. Any number I pick here, if I pick negative 2, if I pick 62, they're going to work. So we found a region that works, and those are x's in between negative 3 and 63. Now let's go to region 3. For region 3, I'm going to pick 10,000. If I put 10,000 in for x, so I'm going to take the x, I'm going to put 10,000 in. I'm going to get 3,333 positive. If I subtract 10, that for sure is not going to be less than 11, is it? Think about that again. A large number, the absolute value, it is not going to be less than 11. It's going to be false. So region 3 does not have any x's that will work. What I found was that from negative 3 to 63 is the solution set. So I'm going to write it in set notation, and here's 3 ways that I write it in set notation. And then I'm also going to write it in interval notation. Notice how I use the brackets because of the solid dots. Because of these solid dots, because this was less than, greater than, I'm going to use brackets there. I hope this video was helpful, and I look forward to helping you in class doing some more problems. Thank you for watching, and have a good evening or a good day.